All right. Welcome to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Hope you guys had an amazing Tuesday. Hope you guys had a great day at work. Hope you guys had an amazing Monday night. I know, watching Monday Night Raw it was a good one. We're gonna get into it pretty damn soon. So make sure you guys, don't change that dial. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez here. Tonight, we're going to talk about our Monday Night Raw review. We're also going to talk about our NXT preview. We're also going to talk about a couple other segments as well. We got John Cena's retirement, basically right around the corner. I was kind of playing with a lot of speculations that, hey, why not make him a heel? So we're gonna go through John Cena, as if he took his retirement, as a heel. So we're gonna get into that. Also, we're gonna get into wrestlers in the past who have beef with The Rock. You recently saw The Rock, the final boss, return at WWE Bad Blood, which was ultimately it was crazy. It was a great moment. It was amazing for wrestling fans. The wrestling fans definitely 1,010%. Including myself, the moment you saw, if you smell, and then all of a sudden it was like the light clicked on and everybody was so excited that they almost crapped their pants. Basically, that's exactly what a lot of people thought, once when The Rock returned, because it's not just The Rock returning, it's the obligations of the storyline in terms of the Bloodline Civil War heading to Survivor Series, WrestleMania 41 implications as well. Also, Roman Reigns and The Rock. We want to see these guys go head to head. Honestly, you probably want to see them go head to head more than The Rock and Cody Rhodes. So we're going to dig into that in our fifth and final segment, something we do every Tuesday in our fifth segment. You dive into my DeLorean. We gun it to 88 miles per hour. And we go back in time on this day of October 15th, back in time. We go back in time to talk about all the major news, all the major headlines, all the major moments that have happened in the world of professional wrestling. So yeah, I can't wait to dig on into it. But before we get started, I want to remind you guys to go ahead and hit up that super chat, 1,010%. Make sure you guys, hit up the tips and donations link as well. If you have a hot take in terms of professional wrestling or a burning question or just something even basically dying to get off your chest, here at the GSMC Sports Network, we are all ears 1,010%. So don't be shy. Drop whatever you guys have to, drop whatever you feel. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. It doesn't necessarily have to be about the subject matter being presented on the show. 1,010%. You can just be like, you know what? I hated John Cena. Or guess what? I hate The Rock too. And guess what? I hate both of them. I'm just kidding. No, imagine that would be a pretty hot take. That'd be pretty awesome. So make sure you don't be shy and just go ahead and drop whatever the hell you want. Hell yeah. And if you really, 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 really want to make sure your comment, question, or concern gets noticed on the show, why not use that super chat? It's that $ below the chat box. Just go ahead and hit it up. Whatever you put in there, it's going to be guaranteed to be featured on the show. It's a great way to support our channel as well. If you guys want to keep this awesome GSMC Wrestling Lawyer podcast keeping you away. Also, we have all the other podcasts on the network that are, filled with, great content, passionate podcasters who care about one thing and one thing only, like you and me: sports, wrestling, sports, football, baseball, basketball, hockey. Here on the GSMC Sports Network, we have it all. We have it all. So don't you guys go absolutely anywhere and try to, because we have it here for you as well. So make sure to go ahead and hit up that super chat. We are absolutely super grateful for each and every one of you guys who joins us here on the GSMC Sports Network daily. So, first and foremost, thank you so much. Hit up those super chats, those super stickers, because you guys are super awesome. And together we will make sure this podcast is bigger, better, and stronger than ever. And once again, if the super chat is not your thing, go ahead and hit up the tips and donations link at the gsmcpodcast.net. Tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like. Just remember to Superman punch that like a subscribe button to the show. Follow the network here, the GSMC Sports Network. We do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity, 1,010%. But of course, in terms of talking sports, comes criticism. Feedback is a gift. It doesn't matter what you guys have to say. If it's a negative, positive, or in the middle, Doesn't matter. Let me know. And, we can definitely make this podcast bigger, better, and stronger than ever. Once again, would love, absolutely love a lot of audience engagement. I don't want to seem like I'm yelling at the mic for like an hour straight. It's just like all Eric's hot takes, like all Eric's hot takes in terms of professional wrestling. Yeah, you know what? It's cool for me to ramble on and on and on and on and on for an hour, but it's more or less just, it's better just to talk to someone. So don't be ashamed to, or don't be too shy to go ahead and drop your wrestling thoughts inside that chat box. All right, so we're going to talk about some WWE Raw review first and foremost. Got to apologize for you guys running into some technical difficulties. Heading into the show was about 10 to like 15 minutes late, so I definitely apologize. So let's go ahead and get through this show, and make sure you guys feel like you're part of the mix. All right, Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw review. We had Rhea Ripley calling out Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. Nothing was really kind of made for it. You had Tiffany Stratton come out, had a message from Nia Jax. Nia Jax once again kind of using Tiffany Stratton as like her as her Barbie doll, as her kind of that way to basically she's like her poodle, like you know what I mean, like she has her in her purse, and and then she's there, she's like "Rah," like she's barking at the person who's so-called intimidated by who Nia Jax's next victims are, Liv Morgan and also Raquel Rodriguez. So it was it was an interesting promo, I gotta be honest, but nothing really came out of it except for the fact that we're going to have a match at the end of the night. Tiffany Stratton teaming up with Rhea Ripley, taking on Nia Jax and Liv Morgan, which was ultimately pretty crazy. All right, so we have the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. We had Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair defeated Damage Control. Damage Control, obviously, kind of, highly involved with Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson from NXT's tag team metaphor. It just sucked. It just sucked. Io Sky looked like she was ready to kind of put it away. Kyrie Singh, a very gifted, high flying superstar. I believe these girls can definitely dethrone Jade and Bianca for those WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. It's just kind of a matter of when. Like, I kind of, when I was talking about my WWE way too early crown jewel predictions, I talked about them perhaps getting a second chance at the titles, which, kind of plays in the favor as what we saw on Monday Night Raw. We don't really want to see matches ultimately end up like that. Although Cargill and Bianca Belair did pick up the victory, it wasn't clean. It wasn't clean, and that could definitely be a reason for them to kind of bring that up to Bianca and be like, you know what, like Io Sky's like, you know what, Bianca, you never really beat us fair and square, so would be an awesome way kind of solidified the WWE Women's Tag Team division. Like I said, I I wasn't really hot on this whole Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair WWE tag team drive or this run that they're having right now. Although it is so far it's been decent. It's been decent. It's been good because ultimately these girls are physical specimens. They're absolutely the best wrestlers on WWE SmackDown, and to see them kind of jump into the tag team division kind of made me sad. But then I kind of thought about it and I was like, you know what? I think they're perfect for the tag team division as of right now. Not permanently, as of right now. They kind of solidify the tag team belts, add a little bit of prestige to it. And whoever's going to dethrone them is going to be, a good reigning tag team champion. So, overall, I get it. I get it. Next, we have our promo with Finn Balor. Basically, I'm going to say it flat out, and it might be much of a hot topic, and it might ultimately kind of be, a hot take in terms of professional wrestling, but Finn Balor looks dumb. Like, I'm sorry. Like, he just, his, the promo with him talking to Adam Pearce, talking about him getting his rematch with Damian Priest. He looks weak. He looks out of sorts. He doesn't necessarily seem like he's in the heavyweight contendership. And this is something that I feared about with Finn Balor joining the Judgment Day from day one. Ever since they replaced Edge, I was like, you know what? Not talking crap on Damian Priest or Rhea Ripley when they joined, but I felt like when Finn Balor joined the Judgment Day, I felt like it was ultimately a knock or a sign of weakness as opposed to just something that could be positive in the end. You know what I mean? Like him as a WWE World Tag Team Champion, it's not good. It's not good. Adam Pearce, said he's setting up a tournament. Obviously, sorry, excuse me. Obviously, whoever wins this tournament is probably going to win those titles, 1,010%. But overall, like, I did not like this promo. I thought Finn Balor looked dumb. He looked stupid. He looked like he was I don't know, it just looked like he was out of the main event. And that's something that it burns me. It kills me because I was a huge Finn Balor fan ever since he arrived from WWE NXT. He was the first ever. He was the inaugural WWE Universal Champion. He was Triple H's guy. Got injured. Then during his absence, Vince McMahon took over once again as creative abilities, buried Finn Balor, and now you're left with exactly what you're seeing right now. And I don't know if his career is kind of tarnished or I don't know if it's, kind of screwed up beyond all, capabilities. But I would love to see Finn Balor kind of, I think this whole Judgment Day thing has to end. Like, it literally has to end. There's no point. There's no point. Like, Liv Morgan brought in Raquel Rodriguez. Why the hell does that matter? You have Carlito there. Why the hell does that matter? You know what I mean? Like, you have Dirty Dom there to accompany Liv Morgan, and that's basically it. Dominic Mysterio is basically kind of a dead thought in terms of Monday Night Raw. And he's like without Liv Morgan, he's not relevant anymore. Falls under the spectrum. He basically gets released from WWE. I feel like WWE really doesn't have, Dominic Mysterio doesn't have a purpose there. Carlito, no. JD McDonough, besides him holding the tag team titles, which already are kind of non-relevant, it's bad. It's bad right now on Monday Night Raw in the tag team division, but most importantly, for what's going on with the Judgment Day. So something has to be done. Something in terms of WWE creative something has to be different. So, definitely looking forward to something different. But overall, I felt like that promo with Finn Balor asking Adam Pearce for a rematch for Damian Priest was, I thought it was awful. I thought it was awful, 1,010%. All right, next we have an American Made promo basically showing that they're so strong, ready to kind of you guys need a hero. You need a hero. You need a hero. And then Chad Gable wants to be that hero type, which by all means he could be there. He could be the hero, but I don't think it makes sense. I don't think And once again, this kind of is an Achilles heel for the WWE creative on Monday Night Raw because, you had Chad Gable leave Alpha Academy, but you had, damn it. I'm not American Made. What are the Creed brothers? You had the Creed brothers, and you had that stable that everybody thought these guys were going to hook up about a month or 2 months ago, and it never happened. It never happened. Then you had Chad Gable go through this thing with the White Six. The White Six made Chad Gable look weak. So basically trying to build a foundation of a tag team off of dead grass, off of dead soil. It's like trying to grow a lemon tree or trying to grow an orange tree or just anything that grows in the roots and on dead soil, and it's not going to bloom into something beautiful or something that's fruitful or something that WWE could use in the future for nourishment in terms of the entertainment business. Overall, I don't, I felt like they kind of did Chad Gable a little dirty. I did not want to see him turn heel to begin with, but when he did, it was, it was cool. It was cool. But once again, a great example, much like you're kind of seeing with Xavier Woods in the New Day, a great example of, Chad Gable turning heel against American Academy. A great example of, why, the shock factor. It's cool. Yeah, it's great. It gets you ratings for like 2 to 3 weeks to a month. But down the line, it just doesn't make sense. And now you're seeing Chad Gable with, kind of without a storyline. And that's exactly what I don't want to happen with this whole Xavier Woods things. But it's crazy. It's crazy. Braun Breaker once again cuts a promo saying that he's coming for Jey Uso's Intercontinental Championship. Adam Pearce interviews Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed once again talks about ambition. Pierce looks and he's going to basically try to take control of the monster, which should be interesting. Not really that interesting, but kind of crazy. Then we had the match, the number one contenders match between Alpha Academy and the returning War Raiders, which didn't really show much. Much competition. Much competition. You saw the War Raiders come out, absolutely demolish Alpha Academy. Otis looks beaten down. Tozawa out of place. And overall, the Alpha Academy is basically one or two more matches, one or two steps to kind of be dead in the world of WWE, which is kind of sad. But WWE did them dirty. You saw 205 Live go under. Tozawa's career screwed. You saw Heavy Machinery, Otis teaming up with Tucker. It was screwed. You had Otis win the Money in the Bank, ultimately to lose it to The Miz, thanks to Tucker. Otis never really fought Tucker, to kind of solidify that feud. So it was just bad. It was just horrible. Right now, these two guys need to reboot in their careers and their character. And as of right now, on Raw or SmackDown or even on NXT, like, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. These guys don't belong on a wrestling roster. It's kind of sad, super sad, because I do love Otis and I do love Tozawa and Maxine Dupree. But right now, they don't belong in WWE. And it sucks because with the right storyline, they could have did so good. But after I don't know. It was bad. It was bad. Next, we're going to talk about Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins talked to Adam Pearce, saying that he was worried about how Seth Rollins is just constantly injured. And then Seth Rollins once again, kind of flashback at Adam Pearce, saying that injuries are part of the game in terms of professional wrestling. I need this fight. Seth is, overall, I feel like it was a good promo, basically telling Adam Pearce, the GM of Monday Night Raw, saying that if you want the best version of Seth Rollins, you're basically going to make this match, because it's going to cause Seth Rollins to kind of be the teeth of the match, and it's going to cause him to be bigger, better, and stronger than ever. Cody Rhodes arrives. He comes face to face with Gunther, talks about respect, the best version of Cody Rhodes. And, then Monday Night Raw, once again, kind of rolls on from that. A lot of great stuff, and we're rapidly running out of time, so I apologize if I miss any big scoops there, but we got to move on. Next, we have WWE NXT Preview, so do not go anywhere. Grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice cold beverage, and join me here in about 20 seconds.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits, some losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip, you choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
All right, we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, here every Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Here to talk about everything in terms of the world of professional wrestling. Just gonna reflect on what we talked about right quick. We had our WWE Monday Night Raw review, and now we're gonna talk about some WWE NXT preview that's happening right now. Can't wait to watch it. Got it recorded. I'm still that dumb person who pays for streaming services like cable, YouTube TV. Oh, it's so expensive. Well, as opposed to, DirecTV, Dish, Spectrum, Frontier, whatever you guys want to call it. To be honest, it's a better deal. So, if you guys are listening to me, definitely 1,010%, I would make the switch. But, I pay for the NFL Sunday ticket as well. So basically I'm paying like $200 a month. $200 a month, just for well, 70 to like $80 itself on just football, man. That's crazy. Something that happens on Sundays. That's insane. Obviously, I'm insane, guys. I'm an insane wrestling fan, but a football fan as well. Definitely gotta love myself some NFL football and some WWE. So yeah, let's go and dig on into our next segment. We have our WWE NXT preview. But before we get into any of that, I want to remind you guys to go ahead and hit up that super chat. Once again, don't be shy. Tell me how you guys feel. Would absolutely love it if you have a burning question or a hot take in terms of professional wrestling here at the GSMC Sports Network. We do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity 1,010% of the time. So don't be shy. Drop your thoughts inside that chat. Here at the GSMC Sports Network, we basically praise ourselves on how often we can have the audience engage in our podcast. The reason why, they can kind of be a part of the mix. Their hot takes featured on the shows 1,010%. If it's just me yelling in the mic for an hour, it's not really that great. It's great because I'm, spewing and feeding you guys the content. But overall, just want to make sure you guys' voices are heard. Want to make sure that you guys ultimately feel like this is your podcast just as much as it is ours on the GSMC Sports Network. So yeah, don't be afraid. Don't be too shy. Drop whatever you feel, however you feel. Tell me how your Bloody Tuesday went. Let me know how, give me a shout out of where you guys are listening from. Also give me basically your hot takes in terms of professional wrestling. And if you really, really, really want to make sure your comment, question, or concern gets noticed on the show, why not use that super chat? It's that $ below that chat box. And whatever you guys have to say is guaranteed to be featured on the show. Plus, it's a great way to support our channel here at the GSMC Sports Network. Those super chats keeps us alive, keeps bringing you guys even more awesome sports content that you guys love so much from multiple podcasts here on the Sports Network. So make sure you guys do that. We are absolutely super grateful for each and every one of you guys who joins us here daily on the GSMC Sports Network. Your support makes all the difference. So let's keep the conversation going. Let's keep that party going. Send in those super chats, those super stickers, because you guys are super awesome. And together we will make sure this podcast is bigger, better, and stronger than ever. Once again, if the super chat is not your thing, hit up the tips and donations link at the gsmcpodcast.net. Tell me how you feel. Tell me how tell me some hot takes in terms of the world of professional wrestling. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. Just remember to Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Follow the show. Follow the network here at the GSMC Sports Network. We do love, of course, a lot of peace, love, and positivity, but talking sports comes criticism. So, of course, feedback is a gift. Whatever you guys have to say, don't be too shy. Don't be afraid. Don't feel like it's gonna be, it's gonna be like a red cross or anything like that, or whatever you guys have to say is gonna be featured on the show. So, be part of the show. Just make sure to send in that chat. Superman punch that like a subscribe button to the show, so we can do this together. This is our podcast, here at the GSMC Sports Network. So we are together. It's our togetherness, which is super awesome. All right, so WWE NXT preview is going to be live tonight. Can't wait to watch it. Once again, I have not checked a single shred of social media, TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook or whatever. YouTube, this is going to be a great NXT, and I can't wait to watch it. I got it recorded right now. But of course, if if it's a big spoiler, just something that you've been dying to get off your chest that's happened on NXT, of course, feel amazed, feel obligated. Make sure you guys go ahead and hit up, exactly how you guys feel. I got my main man, Logan James, right here, basically talking about Something that he's been mentioning for, quite a couple times here on the show. Hello, I thought Tam Nakano's mother is Bull Nakano's because there is a chance Tam Nakano joined into WWE. I did hear that Nakano was going to be joining the WWE from, I believe, Stardom. I think it was Stardom or New Japan Professional Wrestling. Uh, I ultimately feel like that'd be great. You've seen WWE go international, their partnerships with the NHOA. Recently you saw in wrestling headlines that Shinsuke Nakamura is no longer going to be with the WWE. He's going to make his way back into the NOAH wrestling, a promotion that they have in Japan, which is great for him. It could be obviously on WWE, the main roster, after that surprising heel turn against AJ Styles a couple of WrestleManias ago, he never really kind of, found a groove, after that. He had all this momentum of being something like a champion, someone better, coming up from NXT. And he was basically, kind of told no, by WWE creative. They're like, you know what? You have the fans on your side. You and AJ Styles had a great match. You guys have mutual respects, but we ultimately have to always have that heel versus a babyface, which in the world of wrestling nowadays, in the world of digital era, like back in the 80s and the 90s and early 2000s, it was normal. It was normal for wrestling promotions to kind of, it was that heel, it was that babyface, that heel, that babyface. You know what I mean? But nowadays, with social media, with people, posting on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, people like, for example, like Matt Cardona, Chelsea Green, Kevin Owens. And, you have all these people kind of telling their side and their perspectives of their stories that it's not necessarily the narrative that the that the promotion like from WWE, even back in the day with WCW, even back in the day with the NWA and the Jim Crockett promotions, it wasn't, it's not like it was back in the day, like basically. So it's going to be a great way for, it's like the wrestlers kind of control their own narrative. Much like you're, posting on TikTok, much like you're posting on Instagram or Facebook. Like essentially now you are your own person. How much exposure you get throughout social media is absolutely crazy. 1,010%. You have become your own essential public relations executive. Like you only post pictures that you look great in. Like who's ever posted a picture of like I just woke up this morning, have makeup all over my face. Hey, no one does that. No one's gonna do that. Why would you do that? It makes you look bad. So in reality, like, and this connects to professional wrestling because the use of social media nowadays has been absolutely off the charts. And I feel like it's great. I feel like it's great because there's more or less not really that fine line between what makes a bad guy and a good guy in terms of professional wrestling. Now it's like the fans kind of have more power more now than ever in terms of who they're going to root for in WWE, which is great, which is 1,010%. I love it. I think it's great. I think it's great. All right, so jumping into this WWE NXT preview, obviously a little bit like going off a little bit of a tangent there. Halloween Havoc has come upon us. We have the Halloween Havoc wheel will return on WWE NXT. It's been speculated that it's going to happen tonight, but on that wheel we have matches such as a casket match, blindfold match, which would be stupid. Hopefully that one isn't being drawn. Uh, Buried Alive, TL, and not C, but Skulls. So TLC, TL and Skulls. Tables, ladders, and skulls. Tricker street fight. That should be pretty interesting. Chambers of horror, weapons wild, the boiler room brawl, and a couple other that absolutely seem like it's going to be great. Can't wait to see what's going to happen. We have a couple of matches down the line, but this one will not be decided by the Halloween Havoc's Wheels of Hell. We have a gentleman's duel between Oro Mensa of the Metaphor taking on Lexus King. Lexus King, after coming from AEW, he had a promising start, but he just seemed like he just seems like he has no direction. It just seems like he has no direction. Oro Mensa as well, feels like he's kind of that mid card, not really the person to kind of win more matches than he should lose it. which makes you think that he's going to lose, but it's a gentleman's duel. No interference, absolutely nothing whatsoever. Despite the fact that Lexus King is like, his modus apparatus of basically of kind of being a scumbag, kind of finding different ways to win, even if it includes playing dirty. So if anything, this match kind of handicaps, King here. So it should be interesting to find out who's going to win. Next, Nikita Lyons takes on Lola Vice. Once again, if they're going to spin the wheel, it should be interesting. I hope they do. I hope they do. I hope that this match is going to be, let's just spin the wheel here. Weapons Wild. Weapons Wild would be pretty badass to kind of see Nikita Lyons, a returning NXT star, going up against Lola Vice. Riley Osborne taking on Rich Holland. This match needs to be a casket match. At the end of the day, you kind of need to, you need to put this Rich Holland and NXT's Chase you need to put it to bed. And imagine just like rolling Riley Osborne into the casket, which would be pretty badass. Tony D'Angelo celebrates his WWE NXT North American title shocking win against Oba Femi. Stephanie McClure's debut against Ren Sinclair should be interesting as well. Next, we're going to see a number one contenders match. Ethan Page going up against Wes Lee, going up against that boy be bouncy. Javon Evans coming off of a loss from Randy Orton, but ultimately getting his respect, a handshake, which I honestly don't really. Whoever faces Trick Williams next is probably going to lose. They're going to lose at Halloween Havoc. Having Trick Williams win on WWE NXT's debut on the CW just meant so damn much. It's going to mean that Trick Williams is going to be basically featured as the heavyweight champion, going to be the face of NXT for quite some time. I don't see this guy losing the title anytime soon. I would think months, like straight up months down the line before Trick Williams fights someone who has a snowball's chance of dethroning him, winning that WWE NXT World Heavyweight Championship. So, I honestly, I love Ethan Page. I thought his time as NXT World Heavyweight Champion, as opposed to a lot of, wrestling media basically saying that his time as the champion was basically, a forethought, basically as something that you can kind of look over, basically calling it a waste. I don't think it was a waste. I think it was a great way to kind of get people highly involved to kind of, that's the teeth, that's the meat of professional wrestling, playing that heel role. Like I kind of often compared Ethan Page to being like a villain in terms of like a Marvel DC movie where he comes in with the glasses and, he's finally set up, like he has a suit, kind of like where a lot of people like hope that Cody Rhodes will eventually turn heel. That counterpart is Ethan Page. That's exactly, which wasn't bad at all. But the fact that Ethan Page, that the moment he came from AEW to WWE, he got a title shot and he was able to win. He was able to win. He was able to kick ass at NXT's, not War Games. Damn it. It was Heat Wave. I think he won in that Fatal 4-Way match. So, I feel like the WWE NXT Championship is, not necessarily. I don't think it's going to be up for grabs for quite some time. Javon Evans still has a lot to learn, much like you kind of saw with that Randy Orton match. Ethan Page, is probably going to start his, his quest for the NXT North American Championship. And Wes Lee, as much as I love and respect Wesley, he's not championship material. Like, I apologize. Like, I don't think at all that he can represent the brand. I don't think he, maybe he goes back down to kind of, contend for the North American Championship. Kind of reminds me of, kind of like, the Miz is different. The Miz is, he could be a world heavyweight champion. You know what? Nowadays it doesn't really seem likely. He kind of reminded me of, kind of reminds me of the Miz. Like he can be a great mid card champion. Obviously, the Miz with the Intercontinental Championship has made that championship prestigious. So I feel like Wesley once again could do that. Trying to fight for something that he did hold the record for the longest reigning North American champion before Obafemi obviously broke that. If Obafemi returns to WWE NXT tonight, maybe to sorry, excuse me, to address the WWE NXT universe on his future with the organization. It should be interesting. So obviously open to absolutely anything NXT is going to definitely rock. Can't wait to watch it. Obviously, after we kind of sign off here. All right, guys. So hey, do not go anywhere. In our third segment, we're going to talk about John Cena's retirement. I kind of see it a little bit more differently than a lot of people do. For me, I don't want to see John Cena go out there and fight his dream matches. Like although that would be cool, and although that would be something else, but how then like every single match he loses or wins, like it's just a handshake, and it's not really doesn't really have anything to do with the storyline. And if you're WWE Netflix, if they basically traded John Cena for the Bloodline Civil War storyline with Roman Reigns and The Rock because they refused to go on Netflix because they were going to basically, after WrestleMania 41, they're like, you know what, yeah, we'll do it. Which Netflix they were totally unaware of, which they kind of boned them there. But they basically traded that for John Cena, meaning that John Cena is going to have a full-time career return. So we're going to talk about that when we return. So, hey, do not go anywhere.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.
All right, we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, here every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific time, 11 p.m. Eastern time. Here to talk about everything in terms of the world of professional wrestling, all the action inside and out, all the backstage curtain drama, all the superstar news, updates, inactive statuses, injury updates as well, contract negotiations, extensions, and new signings. We talk about promotions from WWE to AEW, TNA to Ring of Honor, to New Japan Professional Wrestling to Stardom, to the National Wrestling Alliance to Game Changing Wrestling. Basically, if it makes major news in the world of professional wrestling, we talk about it here on this show on the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network every night, Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific time, 11 p.m. Eastern time. So without further ado, we're going to talk about John Cena's retirement heel turn. Once again, make sure you guys hit up those super chats because you guys are super awesome. But without further ado, and we are rapidly running out of time, I apologize if the segment seemed a little bit short, but I'm running on the time schedule here, guys. So, hope you guys like it. All right, much like, a lot of people still have speculations that John Cena is going to finish out his career facing out, a lot of competitors that basically is like his dream opponents. Like basically AEW's wrestle dream is going to be throughout his career. He's going to retire at WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas, Nevada. That's I feel like that's gonna be the end game. That's gonna be the end game for John Cena. And I hate it. I hate it. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see John Cena just like shake everybody's hand at every match. I don't like, and if you're John Cena, I wouldn't want that as well. Like, do you really want to come back to the wrestling industry and basically be pitied? Basically, like have wrestlers like, although they are younger and talented, probably more over basically, a referendum or basically like a karma slap to the face from all the talent that maybe may or may not that John Cena back in the day could have buried. Basically kind of getting their shot. You saw him at WrestleMania 39 lose against Solo Sikoa. Which was bad. Which was bad. I don't want to see more of that. I don't. I don't want to see John Cena go against people that he wants to put over or that WWE is planning to move over. Like for John Cena, he will forever in the world of professional wrestling be a babyface. He's the face of WWE, honestly. And he's done it very, very well. 1,010%. This guy has the most wishes granted in the Make-A-Wish Foundation, over 250, more than anybody else. So he's represented the company very, very well. He wasn't like, with the whole Disney thing with Miley Cyrus and Hannah Montana or like any, I'm just kidding. No, don't want to bring that up. Don't want to get into that. But overall, like he represented the company very, very well. So he kind of deserves a coming back party that honestly, he's going to come together with Triple H. They're going to sit down. They're going to talk. They're going to come up with something that fits, something that John Cena ultimately wants to prepare for for his ending. Ultimately, I feel like he will be in creative control of his destiny heading toward his retirement. But I don't know. It's crazy. And the fact that, in terms of being a part-time wrestler, like, dude, I get it. If you're facing all the people that you wanted to face, all the dream matches, like Seth Rollins, like Roman Reigns, like maybe Braun Breaker down the line, maybe, Goldberg, Brock Lesnar, whoever the hell you want to face. Like, I get it. If you're a part-time wrestler, but he's signing up to be a full-time wrestler. That means he needs to have a storyline. He needs 1,010% to be a storyline. As a babyface, he will basically be he'll be essentially like we were talking before to kind of put superstars over on WWE, like he's always had. In WWE right now, like on Raw and SmackDown. On Raw, you have Gunther, who's a heel, but not really a heel because he's kind of he's out there to kind of basically be himself. On SmackDown, you have really only Solo Sikoa and The Rock, who's not guaranteed to be featured weekly shows like SmackDown, like John Cena is going to be when he comes back. So they're going to need a heel surprise. They're going to need something that comes as a shock. And I feel like that fire that John Cena had when he was a heel as the Doctor of Thugonomics, I want to see that come back. I want to see that fire come back. Like I said, I don't want to see him go out and have, shaking everyone's hands after every single match. It's annoying. I don't want to see that. He needs to have storylines. Does he have potential storylines? I think he does. I think he does 1,010%. Basically, I want to see all of his matchups lead up to an awesome storyline at WrestleMania 41. 1,010%. I think a feud with Cody Rhodes seems preferred, to be honest, with no bloodline infusion, just basically Cody Rhodes. Basically imagine a world. Imagine a world in professional wrestling that you see the two most iconic wrestling icons in WWE, The Rock and John Cena, be complete a-holes, be complete heels. That's something that you've never seen in your whole entire life of professional wrestling. And look at The Rock. Just because he's a heel doesn't necessarily mean that people do not root for him. And John Cena, I feel like his audience reaction will be reciprocated the same as The Rock. He will come out, people will be like, I remember when John Cena was successful and he won every single gosh darn match and it was so annoying. But he comes back and he just like talks to the crowd. He's just like this ruthless aggression kind of thing that he has in his back that has been aching him ever since he retired from WWE. Because when John Cena left WWE, he didn't really necessarily leave to be like, you know what, this is my last match, yo. This is it. I'm gone. I want to be the good guy forever. No, I feel like when John Cena comes back, he needs to turn heel. He's been dying to turn heel. In an interview that when, he was talked about, he said, and I quote, "We all turn heel some point in our lives. Whether it's, in WWE, whether it's sometimes in professional, whether it's sometimes in life. Sometimes you need to put your foot down. Sometimes you need to be that bad guy." And John Cena absolutely loves the storyline of the anti-hero. of the anti-hero, where essentially you go out there, you feel like what you're doing is right. A lot of fans are like, you know what, like, although you're going out there and you're achieving your success, you're hurting people in the mix, you're also causing people to hate you along, um, you know, basically along the journey. And then at the end, you kind of have that superhero, that anti-hero, kind of contemplate what he's doing, kind of talk about, kind of think to himself, what exactly do I want? What exactly is going to be great for me? And then you have that character redemption, and then you have him basically, you know, without being completely babyfaced, you have him redeemed in the middle of the WWE universe, which exactly what John Cena should do. Like I said, I don't want to see him go out there and like shaking hands and just like, I want to see John Cena come back as Super Cena. I gotta be honest. I, you know, um, I want to see John Cena come back as somebody who's willing to do anything, willing to do what it takes to be the next one. But ultimately, he's going to be retiring. So it's, not really that step up. Obviously, John Cena is a 16-time WWE champion. I feel like he comes back with the mentality that it's 17 championships or bust. I don't care who I hurt. I don't care what happens in the meantime. I don't care. And, along the journey, any bridges I burn, because you're going to have him fighting for the WWE Championship, fighting for Cody Rhodes' championship. And once again, the Royal Rumble, I feel like, isn't really in his sights. I don't think he's going to win the Royal Rumble. A lot of speculations, people saying that John Cena will win the Royal Rumble to challenge Cody Rhodes. Because if you look at WrestleMania as a whole, kind of like a side note, mostly it's been revolved around the WWE Championship. It has. It has. The WWE World Heavyweight Champion has been a secondary, title, kind of to the point where it seems like it's a mid-card title opposed to the WWE. You know what I mean? Like there's the Intercontinental Championship, the United States Championship, and basically barely above that is the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. So that championship needs glory at WrestleMania, and you're going to see that. You're going to see that with CM Punk winning the Royal Rumble, finally getting his moment, headlining WrestleMania, beating Seth Rollins or beating somebody other than Gunther, because I don't think Gunther is going to hold the title until WrestleMania. I feel like if he does, that storyline between him and Gunther, seems kind of stupid. I would rather see Seth Rollins win the title back, going up against CM Punk, and just having that be that. The WWE World Heavyweight Championship doesn't really get a lot of love on WrestleMania. It's about time that it's basically it's pay due. It's time, it's time. So John Cena will essentially go for the WWE Championship. Will attack Cody Rhodes. Will go after Cody Rhodes. You're gonna see, The Rock confirmed in an interview that he wasn't going to be featured in WrestleMania 41, which he later said that it was BS. It was all, a miscommunication. It was misinformation by the wrestling media. But I feel like The Rock is going to go up against Roman Reigns. And it feels like to be the tribal chief, at the end of the day, you kind of have to have this match between him and The Rock. So John Cena is left with no opponent. I don't want to see him going against The Rock at WrestleMania. I don't. That's terrible. I don't want to see him going against Randy Orton, Kevin Owens. I don't want to see him to go against the returning Rob Van Dam. I don't want to see any of that. The most influential way that you could stir WWE's next generation is you have him going up against Cody Rhodes. I was kind of, I talked about this probably about 3 or 4 months ago, talking about WrestleMania. You have Cody Rhodes lose. No, you have him win. He beats John Cena. John Cena handshakes him at the end of the match. Basically says, guess what? This this WWE is now yours. It's yours. You beat the best. John Cena is, without a doubt, the best WWE superstar of all time. I don't care if you're high on, Hulk Hogan or Andre the Giant or Macho Man Randy Savage, Bruno San Martino, or, I don't care about that. John Cena is the best WWE superstar of all time. That's just facts. And obviously, might get a lot of scrutiny from it. But like I said before, with its public perception, with the way he represented WWE and the way he got fans like crazy. This guy basically built a generation of WWE fans because you had kids. You had kids all over the United States, all over the world, wearing John Cena merchandise. Basically saying, oh, I love WWE, John Cena, Thug Life, make the thugonomic. Like, John Cena definitely ensured the future of WWE. And for me, 16-time champion, like I get it, Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold Steve Austin, they did serve. And I'm not saying that they did not. I'm not trying to say that they did not. John Cena, Stone Cold, Steve Austin, Triple H, Bruno Sammartino, Andre the Giant, Randy Savage, Ric Flair in the NWA. We were talking about WCW here with the NWO. All those people don't mean crap opposed to John Cena. John Cena is the best wrestler in the world of professional wrestling. Got to be honest. And that's just true. That's just true 1,010%. So John Cena, Godspeed, man. Hope you have a great retirement by all means. Hopefully, like I said, he comes back as a giant heel. Of course, once again, kind of, throwing a lot of, conspiracy theories out there, being like, okay, he comes back as the Doctor of Thugonomics. I think 1,010% that'd be great. I don't want to see him go, oh, God. Obviously, I'm very passionate about this. John Cena, basically, during my tenure as a WWE fan, was basically like the king of it. Basically was the king where he would win every single match. He was cutting good promos. He's amazing on the mic. In my opinion, better than The Rock. Way, way better than The Rock, which we're going to talk about right now. We talked about John Cena's retirement as a heel. Now we're going to talk about some wrestlers in the world of professional wrestling who once disliked or beefed with The Rock. So grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice cold beverage, and we're going to talk about it here on the show. So do not go anywhere.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
All right, we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez here. All the action inside and outside of the ring, backstage curtain drama. We talk about injury updates and, inactive statuses of superstars, as well as their contract negotiations, extensions, also new signings for promotions from WWE to AEW to Ring of Honor to New Japan Professional Wrestling. We talk about it here on this show. So if you love professional wrestling like I do, make sure you guys tune into this podcast. Also for the CMLL, the National Wrestling Alliance, the game-changing wrestling promotion that Zila Fatu has been let go. Does that necessarily mean he's going to be on WWE? Who knows? I hopefully think. I'm just kidding. Moving on. So professional wrestling. We all love professional wrestling. And at WWE Bad Blood, you saw the return of the final boss, the most electrifying athlete in sports entertainment. The Rock returned to WWE, and 1,010%, got to throw a lot of respect, a lot of love to The Rock, but ultimately, like, I kind of get where people are coming from. Like, you know what I mean? Like, with The Rock coming back to WWE, excuse me, with the Rock coming back to WWE for the longest time within the Vince McMahon era, which is obviously I kind of got to lay out this foundation for people to kind of understand where a lot of these superstars are coming from. The Rock has been kind of popping in and out of WWE once when his entertainment career is kind of kind of askew, kind of like, on the back burner, kind of like, he's not doing any movies kind of thing where he's like, oh crap, I gotta, gotta get my rep up, gotta get my, my public relations rep up. So I gotta go back to WWE to basically show that, hey, dude, I'm relevant. And that's the reason why a lot of WWE superstars dislike The Rock. That's partially the reason why I kind of dislike The Rock. When The Rock came back in WWE, obviously my wrestling fandom, my WWE Attitude Era fandom was off the charts. It was nuts. It was going bananas. B-A-N-A-N-A-S. This is bananas. B-A-N. I'm just kidding. No. But moving on. Just The Rock coming back to WWE, it just, it stirred a lot of people the wrong way. And we're going to talk about some WWE wrestlers who beefed with The Rock, who have basically disliked The Rock within, they're kind of our features. First and foremost, The Rock, obviously regarded, in terms of the entertainment business as one of the nicest persons in the world. And that's something that, nobody could take away from The Rock. And, obviously in terms of the retrospect of professional wrestling, within professional wrestling, there's egos involved. There's a lot of people who feel like they deserve a shot more than the other guys. And it's competition, but at the same time, it's ambition. Also, at the same time, it's a great way to get your wrestling promotion to be noticed by millions of people worldwide. So, it's that wrestling competition. It's a very cutthroat industry. A lot of professional wrestlings go through it. When The Rock basically left WWE, he was like, you know what? I'm leaving an industry where you kind of would, I don't really want to say this. I don't really want to go out in retrospect to kind of say this to be like, you don't really have to, be competitive. You don't really have to want to bury some other guy to kind of overall proclaim yourself as the number one athlete or overall as number one wrestler in promotion so they can promote you more. In the world of Hollywood, The Rock, when he took center stage, he did the Scorpion King. And then I think he did the Mummy first. I think he did a Mummy, then he did the Scorpion King. And then he started doing other, feature films and stuff like that. You saw him, with Disney films as well. He was in the Game Plan. The Game Plan. He was in the Tooth Fairy, the Fast and the Furious franchise. He was in the movie Faster. He was in a lot of movies, and obviously that's not an indictment of who The Rock is. As a wrestler, people absolutely respect him 1,010%. As a movie star, people respect him 1,010%. As a person, at the end of the day, and I'm not saying The Rock, went rogue and kind of took this journey, this path that was like, you know what? At the end of the day, who matters? Myself. Am I going to promote WWE superstars trying to itch and claw their way up to the top? Why would I do that? Why would I do that? Like, just imagine, like in the NFL, like when you have someone like, kind of like what happened. Take for example what happened to Aaron Rodgers. When Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers, like when he found out that Jordan Love was drafted and was studying under him, he did not want any part of it. He taught. Well, quote unquote, in an interview, he said he basically taught Jordan Love all he knew in terms of being a quarterback. And within the first, couple of, the reps, first couple of, games that Jordan Love did take, it was bad. It was bad for Jordan Love. A lot of people thought Jordan Love was a bust. But then, of course, Jordan Love kind of got together with his young receivers, not what Aaron Rodgers wanted to do. He got together with his young receivers. He's like, you know what, guys? I'm going to go with my own thing. If you're good with it, let's go through it. If not, then, obviously talk to, Matt LaFleur, talk to the coaches and stuff like that. But this is kind of what I want to do. I don't want to do what Aaron wanted to teach me to do. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like, a lot of Jordan Love's success right now with Green Bay isn't what Aaron Rodgers taught him. And I hate it. I hate that Aaron Rodgers is getting glory, because a lot of people are like, oh, Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers studied under him and under Jordan, like, you kind of have to jump out of the fray. And I feel like The Rock, the correlation to this is that The Rock, in terms of young wrestlers, he was there to kind of mentor them at the same, but at the same time, he was there to kind of steal the limelight. Like he was there to kind of be like I said before, like he was there, like, you know what? I don't have anything happening in Hollywood right now. How could I make my brand still be alive without me starring in movies? So I'm going to go back to WWE. And is he wrong for that? No. Because in his eyes, he was like, you know what? I'm going to go back to something that I love so much. I'm going to go back to something that I love doing. I love the fans. I love the aroma. I love the atmosphere. So essentially, it was like, he's going out there not trying to cause any problems. But at the end of the day, you have young rising stars, especially back in 2004 with Batista, with Randy Orton, with a lot of these, a lot of younger superstars that they were trying to promote. But, when he came back, back in, 7 years and back in 2011, and a lot of these superstars, they still kind of hold that grudge toward Dwayne The Rock Johnson. So yeah, let's talk about some. So we have Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes said that The Rock, Rhodes said in an interview on the MMA Hour that he does not like The Rock. He does not like The Rock at all. He respects him, and he respects how he opened doors for wrestlers to kind of pursue their career in acting. You've seen a lot of wrestlers' career kind of jump toward that, like John Cena. I'm not too sure Triple H was going after, like Triple H. But to be honest, like there was other superstars before The Rock that was, kind of going and acting like Andre the Giant, like, Hulk Hogan, like Macho Man Randy Savage. So at the end of the day, I'm not too sure how crazy that could be. Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is a person who beefed with The Rock in the back in the day. Seth Rollins, some of the insults that that Seth Rollins threw The Rock's way during the promo, heading toward WrestleMania 40, night one, Saturday, and night two. It was kind of personal. It was kind of personal. It was more than just a promo. And after joining, when The Rock became the member of the board of directors in TKO, Seth Rollins said in an interview that he was absolutely gross with how The Rock basically infiltrated, and he wanted the attention and the storylines basically built around him and kind of control some of the behind the scenes in terms of creativity. And he said it was sick, but later, of course, he basically said that he respects where he comes from and stuff like that. So Seth Rollins and The Rock are currently cool. CM Punk, obviously back in the day when he was feuding with The Rock, he's not the same CM Punk. He's not the CMC, he's not the same CM Punk. The remarks he made in 2011, The Rock, absent in WWE since 2004. Punk recently said basically that he felt like it was, out of context, it was out of control. In his pipe bomb, he I watched that. He referenced in the pipe bomb promo that The Rock basically is, that he's a historian. That he's basically, in terms of WWE, whenever he comes back, that, WWE gives him whatever he wants. He called him, I think in the promo, he was like, when Dwayne comes through, when Dwayne, when he comes back to WWE. And at the time, CM Punk was the best wrestler on the roster, but Vince McMahon or whoever, it doesn't really matter in WWE, they're in love with this whole concept of Triple H. This whole concept of John Cena and The Rock. To CM Punk was basically an outsider trying to fight in, the only one to kind of backmouth a lot of what WWE, because back in the day, a lot of creative officers in WWE, like Bruce Pritchard, like Mark Briscoe, like oh my God, who was the other? Not Mark Briscoe. Sorry, Jared Briscoe. Don't do my man Mark Briscoe wrong like that. Pat Patterson. You had a lot of people backstage that were yes men, that were that they were yes men in WWE. They saw what Vince was doing. They're like, oh, that's cool, dude. Yeah, dude, go with that, dude. Yeah. Oh my God, that's such a great idea. How about we talk about some salary claims? Like, what I mean? He's spending that money. I'm just kidding. No, but overall, like, CM Punk was probably like, he was guilty by association. Like, he wanted something better for WWE Creative that they did not want to deliver. And that's the reason why WWE fans, when CM Punk retired, were kind of lost. There's a reason why fans were chanting his name throughout every single promotion in WWE. It's not because he was just like, the greatest wrestler on earth. That's not, obviously that was a given though. But at the same time, it was like, you know what? There's an obligation that a wrestler has to do. There's an obligation that somebody can't just walk off the roster and be like, you know what? You know what's wrong with WWE? Every single time somebody leaves, they can't leave with their name. They can't leave with their credibility. They have to leave with a different name. CM Punk was like, you know what? I'm keeping my name. I'm doing exactly what I feel like I have to do. And WWE has buried more stars in the making just to make Dwayne seem strong. CM Punk said in an interview that Vince McMahon came to him straight up and told him in his match with Roman Reigns that he was like, you know what, Punk, we want to make Roman look strong, so make sure you make Roman look strong, man. And CM Punk was like, what? Like, what do you mean? Like, why are you doing this to WWE talent? So I don't know. For CM Punk, obviously, he dropped his beef with The Rock. Obviously, a lot of, kind of crazy stuff heading to then, but obviously he referenced and in the pipe bomb promo, and we're rapidly running out of time. Dang it. The Rock, basically, he ended the historic WWE title run in 2013 for CM Punk. So, all right. Next, we have John Cena. In 2008, in an interview with The Sun, John Cena was absolutely frustrated with The Rock. Talking about, in terms of in professional wrestling, he never showed up. The Rock obviously coming back angry. He called Cena out, basically for him, you know, basically for him calling him out. And it was crazy. John Cena called out The Rock for writing most of his promo lines on his wrist. And, John Cena's point of view obviously changed once when he left for Hollywood himself, because essentially he was upset that, everybody still loved, everybody still, they were so hot about The Rock, especially once when you had a lot of these superstars eating up of exactly what The Rock was trying to do. The Rock promising to come back to WWE never really did. So, he was frustrated. He was frustrated. All right, so next we have The Rock and Randy Orton. In The Rock's final match, he was against Evolution with his Rock and Sock connection buddy. Basically, later on down the line, 70 years down the line to be exact, The Rock basically was tarnishing the relationships, the reputations, and also the potential storylines of rising stars. They didn't like him. They did not like The Rock when he came back because basically you were sharing TV time, which is, 1,010% of how superstars should be. Orton claimed that The Rock used both writers and teleprompters in the arena to do anything to make him look great. He basically he claimed that The Rock turned his back in terms of the wrestling business. Once again, like I was talking about, lying to the fans, saying that he will never ever leave WWE again. Vince was upset with Randy Orton, told him to basically voice his frustrations, and The Rock called Vince. The Rock called Vince for bad. John Laurinaitis pulled Randy Orton aside, basically saying that, hey, dude, what are you doing? Like, you can't do this. So, The Rock and Vince McMahon have some sort of, messed up, have some sort of, storyline together. Well, have some sort of mutual respect that'd be like, you know what? When I come back to WWE, I want to look great. So it's like one of those things like, you know what? You don't touch it. You don't think about it. Definitely don't think about touching it. And you definitely don't think about thinking about touching. I'm just kidding. No, but overall, The Rock has definitely been poster boy of WWE. And moving on. So we had Triple H after Stone Cold Steve Austin's neck broke on SummerSlam event in 1997. Triple H right out of D-Generation X and the Rock out of the Nation of Domination, who would basically who will be the face? Kind of like a face-off. Who will be the face of WWE? So not really necessarily saying that these guys hated each other, but these guys were basically like when you're trying to fight for a promotion inside of a job. Like these guys want to go, head to head with each other. These guys did a lot of sabotaging, a lot of backstabbing, and a lot of trash talking. Even sometimes in promos, it became a real life, basically ash chewing from one another. And it was just, obviously right now they're cool. Obviously they're on the creative side in terms of WWE, but back in the day it was kind of crazy. And of course, Shawn Michaels, The Rock claimed that Shawn Michaels disrespected his mom in an event in Hawaii back in 1997. The Rock carried that hate for years and basically, and Shawn Michaels preferred to push a Triple H instead. In 1999, The Rock claimed that Shawn Michaels, kicked him too hard. Michaels responded that The Rock wasn't cut for professional wrestling, which led to an incident backstage where The Rock and Shawn Michaels got into it, where the two had to be broken up. The Rock stated that Shawn Michaels, never, ever, ever attempted to help him, which, Shawn Michaels and Triple H best buddies. Like, you know what I mean? It's not really, a referendum or an indictment on Shawn Michaels to be like, you know what? I was trying to help my boy. I was like, you know what I mean? Like, who knows? I'm basically a match was pitched at WrestleMania 22, 2006 that Shawn Michaels, basically said, according to Shawn Michaels, that The Rock was simply uninterested. So The Rock potentially still holding a grudge on what happened during his young career with the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels. But I don't know. It's absolutely crazy. Of course I feel like right now they kind of, they carried their beef, they squashed it, which is, exactly what professional wrestling, you have Shawn Michaels and, The Rock, Triple H, The Undertaker, Kane, Mankind. You have a lot of these superstars that have a lot of, that have a lot of passion and stuff like that. It's necessarily, it's a job. It's a job. So you have to necessarily fight for that promotion, be the face of the world wrestling industry. And that's something that Shawn Michaels obviously maybe feeling a little threatened for himself as well. Also, once when, Shawn, with his counterpart Triple H of D-Generation X. So, definitely, kind of cool, kind of crazy. But yeah. All right, guys. So thank you so much for tuning in to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I severely, deeply apologize for not getting to my Tuesdays today in wrestling history, but I promise we can, remake that. We can remake that up later. It seems like whenever I have this podcast, I go over the line. I go over time restraints and stuff like that. So, thank you so much for tuning into the GSMC Sports Network, brought to you by GSMC Wrestling Podcast. Sorry. Thank you so much. Got to say goodbye to you guys. I got my boy Emran's GSMC Soccer Podcast. If you're a fan of soccer, make sure you stay tuned. If you want to get into soccer, make sure you tune into this hot soccer podcast, one of the best in sports entertainment industry right now. My boy Emran is about to give you all the know-how and how to watch the games, how to basically, go about a lot of these, surprising losses happening with the, with a lot of the leagues going on with soccer. For me, MLS. Yay! I'm just gonna MLS is like, so like you have the Champions League, the Premier League. You have a lot of things happening. Like it's great. The Conquer Cup. Like there's a lot of things in terms of soccer that obviously me as a simple wrestling fan can't really understand. So make sure you stay tuned. Thank you so much for tuning into the GSMC Wrestling Order podcast. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and other platforms. And most importantly, hope you guys had a great time talking wrestling. Hope you guys have a great Tuesday night. Hope you guys enjoy WWE NXT, but most importantly, love you.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't